industry, it's seen as normal to bring their friends and day ones with them so they can enjoy the life of fame and luxury together. However, in many of these cases, people switch up either due to jealousy or simply because the relationships weren't real in the first place and only existed so they can leech off each other. This is a common occurrence with the narcissist himself, Playboi Carti. To this day, when Carti sees a chance to use someone...
Cine-i OG Vamp chat? Cine îi zic cum se numește? The OG Vamp. Știți? Bravo, mă, bravo, bravo, bravo.
Just so he can solely benefit from it, he doesn't think twice about it and instantly pounces on the opportunity, just to leave that person behind in the dust. So today, I'll be going over the many victims of Playboi Carti and explaining how they were used by him.
While I was pregnant, this man didn't son be born. He went to Philly to play the PlayStation with little Uzi. He thought that was more important than seeing his son be born.
At the beginning of Carti's music career in 2014, Carti would meet the producer Ethereal through mutual high school friends. Now Ethereal is known to be very selective with who he works with, but with Carti's friends speaking very highly of him, they instantly got to work.
I'm from South Atlanta. I went to Sandy Springs in high school and met up with my nigga therealred. And then since then, you know, we just clicked up.
After only knowing Carti for a short period of time, Ethereal told him, "You are going."
Piesa asta îi legendară, fra. Piesa asta e legend. Hard as fuck. Și asta, insane. Insane, bro. Hard. Ce vremuri nebune.
Going to be a superstar, which was entirely based on the way Carti carried himself, and further stated, he knew that Carti wanted to be the main character. The duo would release some of the first songs that would put Carti on the map, such as Young Zan Ho and Beef, and during this period, Ethereal would actually be part of the collective Awful Records. They were a very prominent underground group within Atlanta at the time, who Drake even co-signed. The founder, Father, was impressed by Carti's music and decided to bring him in.
Ești nebun, ultima dată când am auzit de Father a fost când a fost pe remixul de la Igima. Crazy. Și pump fake, da, cum să nu, insane.
This of course opened many new doors for Carti, with the first big step he achieved after joining was releasing songs such as Plug, Broke Boy and Count It Up, who were produced by Mexico Dro, who was and is still an important figure within the underground scene, as he was one of the producers to build the foundations for the SoundCloud sound, and is responsible for the notorious Plug. These songs were important to Carti.
Daria, mulțumesc mult de donație. Ești Carti cause I want your whole lot. Damn, the Reez.
His career, as it was the first set of music which people took seriously and got people talking about him. Now that Father had seen the potential of Carti, he treated him as his protege and attempted to promote him as much as he could. He would post him all over their social media, make music with him, and even take him on tour. Carti was growing quick within the underground, which caught the attention of many people, with one of these being the New York-based fashion designer Ian Connor, who introduced Carti to A$AP Rocky and A$AP Mob sometime around 2015.
Piesa aia e legendară. Deci piesa aia și piesa aia și Feti. Piesa aia și Feti sunt cele mai importante piese din SoundCloud era.
Wanted to officially sign Carti on paper to Awful Records, as so far nothing was official. They were a collective.
Bă, ce hard a fost What de la 1, mă, omule, mă, Doamne ferește, mă. Ce bună era aia din clip, fut-o dracu.
Bă, not a label, but as soon as Ian Connor and Rocky heard of this, they immediately flew him out to New York and got him signed under Rocky's label, Org.
Because by that time he might have already been A$AP. Or he might not have been A$AP, but I think he was already talking to Rocky and Barney.
But after signing, it would come out that Carti was not paying his producer Mexico Dro and a couple of other producers. Before this information came out, Carti and Dro were a notorious duo in the underground, producing many hits. And to see them fall out was a shock to many underground listeners.
Ghost e cea mai hard piesă, ești de bun. Bro, ce insane era
Just
Ghost.
before the release of Self-Titled, Carti's and Mexico's Dro's relationship would go south. Dro would take to Twitter to diss Carti after he supposedly ran away with his beats and never paid for them, with one of these beats being for the song Plug, featuring Rich the Kid.
Pe bune, bă, erau alte vremuri, mă, frate, erau alte vremuri, mă, omule, mă. Veneam de la liceu, îmi aruncam ghiozdanul deoparte, ești nebun, stăteam pe geam, era întuneric deja, că era iarnă, 2016 ianuarie, pe atunci, aruncam, 2015, decembrie, 2016 ianuarie, aruncam ghiozdanul deoparte, veneam de la liceu, se făcea seară între timp, mă puneam pe geam așa, înspre afară, știi, să nu intre fumul de țigară în casă, să simtă maică mea. Fumam o țigară, ești nebun, și atunci era când mă apucasem de fumat. Și când la început, primele 2 săptămâni, ești un pic așa, hai. Mamă, și stăteam cu căștile pe cap și puneam, frate, ești nebun, Carti, și mă puneam pe pat. Mamă, și să-mi bag pula, ce senzație aveam, bă, n-aveam o grijă pe lume, eram fericit, frate, ești nebun. Eram fericit. Gen, cred că atunci a fost ultima dată când am fost pe bune fericit. Crazy. Crazy. Tot ce s-a întâmplat acolo, gen, toate chestiile ce s-au întâmplat în perioada aia. Nebunie, frate. Exact, Eddie. Și îmi făceam scheme din alea, ești nebun, că îmi puneam pe pix, știi, pe pix, când îi chestiile alea de să ți le pui în buzunar sau să ți le aghezi de guleri. Acolo puneam țigare și să nu pută degetele. Instrumentul.
And Kodak Black. Dre would even
Bă,
call him out
copii,
on
să nu
Twitter
faceți așa
live.
ceva, să nu
Carti,
fumați.
if I catch you, nigga, I'm your ass.
Să nu
It's
faceți
over with.
așa
I'm
ceva,
taking
bă.
your chain. I'm taking out your fucking money, nigga.
But after their falling out, Dre would land credits on Carti's Self-Titled
Alright, that.
as he produced the song Had To, and had his ad-libs used on the song Let It Go.
And sorry to interrupt the video, but I'm really trying to get to 20k subs, so I'd appreciate if you guys could subscribe.
Also, comment and like, highly appreciated. Now let's get back to the video. Dro actually contacted Carti to remove him from his tape, but Carti didn't listen and still released it. Mexico Dro also has writing credits on top from Die Lit, but apart from that, the two haven't spoken since. After coming out of jail in 2019, Dro even tried to contact Carti to work on a tape, but was left with no reply, which is a shame. Mexico Dro was a very important figure in Carti's early career, especially as he produced some of the
Fii
first.
atent, bă, Eddie, bă, ce zic copiii ăștia. Fii atent, Eddie. Fii atent, Eddie. Mamă. Uite ce-au făcut copiii ăștia, mă, fra. Zi. Mamă, bro, ești nebun? În Sad Satan ai făcut chestia asta. E adevărat, bă, Eddie? Sau vorbesc prostii? I-a bunghit pe... Ce înseamnă bunghit? Ce dracu înseamnă bunghit? În viața mea n-am auzit. Auzi pe mea ce a zis bunghit. Ce înseamnă, frate? I-a bunghit. I-a nimerit? Aia înseamnă... Ăla cuvântul, frate. No, de acum încolo o să folosesc și eu, i-a bunghit.
Songs that put Carti on the map. Unfortunately though, as they were both underground figures at the time, most of the music is done without any legal work involved, meaning, most of the time, only the artist gets paid. Producers, creatives, are usually left in the dust. The other producer that Carti had scammed was Milan Makes Beats, who produced the song Velo and Thug and many other unreleased snippets. Milan
Dresser, frate, piesa asta era insane. Mamă, cât ascultam Dresser. I know, Joker, n-am produsă pentru D Savage. Crazy.
had actually produced a majority of the self-titled mixtape before Carti redid all the songs over Pierre beats. What happened was, Milan would send Carti snippets of his beats. Carti took these snippets, rapped over them, looped the beat snippet that Milan sent, extended it so he wouldn't have to ask or pay Milan for the full beat. Some of these snippets that Carti posted or songs released even had snippets from the website Purchase Your Tracks Today, which of course showed that Carti was not paying for these. The issue was when Playboi Carti's A&R contacted Milan to sort out paperwork for Playboi Carti's self-titled mixtape, Playboi Carti's camp wanted Milan to send the full beats over first before sending any official paperwork, meaning Milan would be sharing his beats with Carti without first seeing the contracts or any money, which is of course very dodgy. After all this went down, Milan would then leak screenshots of his DMs with Carti, which read, "You rapped over Purchase Your Tracks today, lol. So what I do to you?" Carti replied, "Can't wait to see you, bitch." Milan would say, "Bro, you stole from me, and I wanted credits and royalties, and to work. You tripping, stop hitting me up," which Carti threatened Milan. "I'ma find you, little bitch. Fuck everybody who love you. You a peon." Carti would then reach out to Milan's friends to try to find out where he lived, probably so he can go rob his place and beat his ass. Milan's friends would release the screenshots which read, "Yo bruh, is Milan in North or South Carolina? I don't know why. I don't know about that fella. I'll pay you. Find out where he stay at. Call me." Bro, that's hella sus. I ain't gonna tell you his info. I'ma find you. Like hell you bitch. I ain't afraid to whoop your bitch ass and take that fake ass tech deck chain. You a bitch. I'ma kill you and Milan and Bands. That's some weed bitch. You a stain. You lame as hell bro. Now, Carti would say he's for Milan and Barnes because after Carti refused to give Milan credits or any money for...
mai țineți minte, man, când a ieșit Igima, dacă mai țineți minte, și după aia au făcut ăștia de la Noisy, parcă au făcut Kid Ape documentary. Au făcut ceva documentar. The Great Korean, de la Vice au făcut, nu mă, de la Noisy cred că au făcut. Nu de la IT, de la Noisy, mă, de la Noisy ăștia, uite, ăsta, mă, frate, ești nebun, ce insane era, ce insane. După ce au făcut documentarul ăsta, m-am dus și mi-am cumpărat, frate, ești nebun, șapcă de asta așa și tricou din ăsta. Așa, pe culoarea aia. Bă, ce insane erau vremurile astea, erau insane rău. Mă, era mare fan Kid Ape, nu înțelegeam nimic din ce zice, dar era mare fan. Trebuie să traduce și nouă ce zice ăsta? Cine? Ăsta de aici?
Milan would take it upon himself to leak the song Butterfly Coup, which was Carti's song, but also had a Young's Bands feature, who at the time was beefing Carti because Bands supposedly didn't pay Carti for a feature. So of course Carti didn't want Milan to release the song, firstly because it has Carti's vocals and Carti didn't approve of this to be released, and then secondly because it had a Young Bands on it. Milan would leak another screenshot of this conversation which read, "Don't drop shit with me on your
Citiți numai ce bol zice ăsta pe română aici.
Shit on everything. I'll fight you. I will have fellas at your house today. Try me. I'm in the UK. I'm bored. I will gladly set your ass up. Fuck you and Young Band's pussy." Wait, what? Fella, you stealing my beats and stealing my sound. I haven't done shit to your ass but make beats that you stole. I don't give a fuck how you feel. It's a damn song. What the fuck have I done to you? You stole beats and running around with a sound. Carti would then block Milan, which ended the situation. Carti concluded all of this with, "I only rap on Pierre beats, so this old producer's sick. I promise I don't do janky business." Bruh, fella's mad because I stopped rapping on his beats. Bro, it's crazy because I can't even defend myself, because these fellas ain't worth it. If I stole the beat, I'll tell that pussy fella. Pierre born rich as fuck, that's all I need. I don't owe him shit, I don't steal beats. Which, very hypocritical, because Carti would delete the Milan produced song, Velo Thugs. So it seems like Carti did steal the beat, and then tried to delete the song to hide any evidence. But things have been quiet since. Carti did rob Milan and Mexico Dro, but unfortunately for them, there was nothing they could do. These releases aren't worth enough money to hire lawyers and actually sue Carti for money, because the lawyer fees would probably be worth more than the actual money they could get from Carti and his camp.
You ain't getting a dime. What's his name?
Milan.
Hey, Milan. Sorry, buddy. Get out my fucking DM. Are you kidding me?
Mă, frate, ce mă enervează omul ăsta, mă enervează de mor, e terminat.
Overall, Carti screwed them over, but loads of producers get screwed over in the industry, and it's just how it is. Yes, it isn't fair and it's a completely awful thing to do, but in the underground, there's barely any money to be made. So when you're asking an artist to pay you, when the artist themselves is barely making any money, you don't have a lot of power in the situation.
Măni, ce vorbești, mă, bală? Ui, la academic ce slab era, ești prost? Și tot era huge. Asta înainte să înceapă. Asta era înainte să înceapă adicția de Big Mac.
Now, Ethereal and Awful Records, well, Ethereal is still actually very close with Carti. He would be one of the first people to find out about the opium label and stated himself that he's not signed yet. He explained how he understands Carti is one of the biggest artists in the world and can't be constantly chilling with his friends. But when he does have the time, he will come back home to Atlanta and spend time with them. He was very influential to Carti's career, as he was one of the first producers that made noise with Carti. In the current day, many fans see him as a pioneer of Carti's early sound and as a GOAT underground producer. I wouldn't say he's a victim of Carti or that Carti ditched him. It's more he simply moved on to a different producer, and fair enough in Carti's case, because they're still close to this day, and Carti even rapped over his beats in 2020.
Nu o să vină mă Carti niciodată la Beach, please, calmați-vă, ești prost? E prea exclusiv asta pentru România.
Then Awful Records, who Carti really left in the dust. After he signed to ASAP, he even came out in an interview and said,
I was never Awful Records. I was never Awful Records.
Bro, cea mai tare piesă de la Kodak, fii atent, e asta. Eu pe astea mă rupeam. Bro, ce insane era piesa asta, Doamne ferește. Asta era insane. Ce hard era și Kodak, mă, ce vremuri nebune. Ce vremuri de bune am trăit. Trebuia să fie acolo, mă. Și Lil Skies, mamă, cât ascultam Lil Skies.
And he even stole one of Awful Records' merch designs. The group definitely helped him find his feet within the underground, but realistically, this small collector from Atlanta could only get Playboi Carti so far. So it was mainly Ian Connor and A$AP Rocky that took him to the next level. In the modern era, Carti is known as this global superstar, but a lot of casual fans won't know who Uno the Activist and Thousand Band Fani are. Well, the three go way back to 2014, where they were all together in a rap group called Splur Gang, with Carti and Uno especially going way back, with them knowing each other since they were literal babies. Then Fani would come around after he held a house party and they met through mutual friends. The group would start releasing music and started making some buzz in the underground, especially Carti. After finishing high school, Carti would move to New York, where he would stay with his family in the Bronx. While in New York, Carti would be discovered by two prominent figures within the fashion scene: A$AP Bari, co-founder of the A$AP Mob and the creator of the V-Lone brand, then the designer and stylist Ian Connor. They would take him under his wing and had planned to make him a superstar. They would introduce him to A$AP Rocky, who in that year of 2015 had just released his second studio album, At Long Last A$AP, selling 140k units first week, and debuted at #1 on the US Billboard. Carti would be A$AP Rocky's protege and would become close friends with him. Eventually, they all became one really big crew: the A$AP Mob, Carti, Fani, Uno, Ian, and the Bloody Brothers, Bloody Dior and Bloody Osiris, who are both respectable figures within the fashion industry. They would all be underground favourites and were dropping really good music at the time, with the likes of V-Lone Thug and What. However, the group started to fall apart, as Carti would be seen a lot more with the A$AP Mob, Ian Connor, than his own childhood friends, Fani and Uno. Which, if you think about it, it makes sense. As with the support from A$AP, Carti had the potential to affiliate himself with one of the biggest groups in the scene at the time. Things would turn even darker on the 7th of October in 2016, when Uno the Activist got into an argument with Bloody Dior.
We got an argument. Uno basically threatened me. I had it on me. He had people come, pull up on me 4 cars deep, and it was a fire shot, like, and he got hit.
Now this is where Carti would start falling apart with Uno and Fani, as he didn't support Uno and stay by his side during this beef, and would instead continue being friends with the A$AP Mob and the Bloody Brothers. After this all went down, Carti's group claimed Uno snitched to the cops and said they had the paperwork.
Uno the Activist of my sentence, aggravated assault. Guilty, 10 years. This is my fine. This is my cop out.
And then Bloody Osiris would
Ții
drop a
minte când
diss
a
track
fost
on
beef-ul
Uno.
ăsta, mă,
Some
frate,
time
mă.
would go by, but Uno
Era
didn't let
crazy.
it go.
Eram
He'd come up with a series on
distrus.
tweets which read,
Tu
"This
era
ain't no
mare
diss,
fan Uno.
but I would never sell my
Și
soul for the
Carti.
fame. I would never change on my family over pussy," which is in reference to him getting
Ce piesă a
shot,
scos
as the
acum
incident
Uno, e
supposedly
insane.
went down due to him and Dior arguing over a girl. I would never friend my brother's enemy, which is him coming at
E
Carti
insane de
again.
hard
That
piesă ce a
Carti
scos-o Uno
chose the
acum.
ASAP Mob and the Bloody Brothers over Uno and Fani after he got shot. I would never talk down on family, so fellas don't fuck with him before they meet him. All that devil worship, feeding statues is out. He would put out another diss tweet which read, "Fellas look you in your eye and say, I can take your style because we family, then never see you again." Now this is another shot at Carti because many fans in the modern day say that Carti basically bit Uno's flows, Uno's voice,
Toată
and even
ziua.
his style, which is what this tweet is getting at. He would also say in another tweet, "If a fella shot my brother, I would never call the shooter my big homie," which is again him coming at Carti, as after Uno got shot, Carti would call Dior his brother. But Uno isn't
activistul.
the only person Carti would directly fall out
Dar nu
with.
era
Fani would also have his own
activist
set of
din ăla.
events, which would lead him to being a victim of Carti. Fani would first fall out with fellow Atlanta native, Lil Yachty. The two would fall out over a girl who set up Fani and ended up getting his chain snatched by the rapper Slimecito. Lil Yachty would post an image of Fani's chain, not knowing that it was actually Fani's chain. Once he realized, he took to Twitter to apologize to Fani, but Fani was furious. And I mean, having your chain snatched, then posted by another rapper, is probably one of the most humiliating
Chiar ieri l-am
things
văzut
that
pe
can
Fani în
happen.
ceva TikTok.
But by boat, posting Fani's
făcut fit
chain,
check.
Fani himself had thought there was Yachty that set him up in the first
Omul
place.
avea vilă
Fani
pe
would
el.
retaliate by shooting at
Deci
boat
cred că e ok
outside
acum
of a
cu
show.
ăstea.
The bullet missed Boat and his friends by just a couple meters.
And he almost hit us. He hit right above us. He hit a couple meters above us. He could have hit us, and we could have died that night.
So on a different night, it could have potentially hit them and killed someone. And after Fani shot at them, he supposedly rang Boat
Noapte bună, Nati.
and started laughing like the Joker. Fani's mouth, as of course Fani and Yachty have beef together. But now Carti is not taking his childhood friend's side and is instead hanging out with Yachty, which, to be honest, is simply Carti being smart and articulating the move that would be the best for his career. As 2017 was a huge year for Yachty, as it was during this time he was breaking out of the underground with his hits Broccoli and One Night. And of course, we know clout can be shared through osmosis, so Carti could only benefit from hanging out with Boat, instead of staying with the guy who got his chain snatched and then almost crashed out. And now as we close off 2017, Carti has basically completely separated himself from Uno and Fani, and is exclusively hanging out with the top dudes in the scene, Rocky and Ian Connor, and a couple of the other fashion dudes. The situation of Fani and Uno was simply Carti doing what's best for his career. Yes, it's completely selfish to choose fame over your childhood friends, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to wanting to become a superstar so you can leave behind a legacy and provide for your entire family, most artists don't think about that stuff twice. Carti probably does owe a lot to Uno and Farney though, especially Uno, as a lot of fans think he basically took his flow and cadence, but just did it better than Uno, which is why Carti blew up in the first place. However, right now, Carti looks like the bad guy that left his friends behind so he can climb to the top, but lucky, he was very close with these guys at the time, came out a couple years ago and revealed that Uno and Farney
I got on that shit, I got on it, then surpassed them, and they was just lost in the sauce. I'm like, damn.
The next victims I'm going to delve into is the many women Carti has repeatedly physically attacked and gotten into toxic relationships with. This goes all the way back to 2015, where he was caught in a vlog flexing to Ian Connor and his friends how while at a gas station off a Zan, some girls started laughing at his outfit, which he would hear. He would lash out at the girls and start beating the woman and start thrashing the gas station store.
I was lit out the Zan, bro, in the gas station. I had on my skinny jeans or something. Bitch started laughing.
Termina rău de tot.
Fuck y'all laughing at? What? Boom!
Zoom te pup, bro.
Look, start tagging their ass. We be breaking everything. You hear niggas, get out the stove. They call the police.
Also around this time is when he was dating Instagram model Ruby Rose, who got famous from starring in the Migos Bad and Bougie music video. Carti and Ruby would meet around 2015 after Ian Connor finished dating her. Before she got with him, she would keep him in the friend zone, probably due to him still being with awful records, meaning he was a broke and unpopular SoundCloud rapper. But after signing with ASAP, they would start dating, where he would start taking her to shows. Carti would also sleep at Ruby's house in Atlanta, where in his spare time, he would use her balcony to test his guns. Average day in Atlanta, right?
He would get on your balcony and just shoot off his gun, and no one would say anything, no one called the police or...
It's Atlanta.
Yeah, that's normal shit in Atlanta.
Well, where I was staying at, yeah.
Ruby would describe their relationship and love as crazy, which would come out to be true, as one day, as Carti was trying to catch a flight, she would hide his phone to prevent him from leaving, which would lead to them getting into an argument and Carti setting off his gun.
We got in a little argument because I hid his phones before his flight. It just was like we were outside. He like, it wasn't directly at me. It was just more like in the vicinity.
If you search this up on YouTube, the media portray this as if Carti shot directly at Ruby, but it was more so of Carti shooting up in the air to intimidate Ruby so she would give him his phones back. Either way, he was very wrong for that. In 2017, Carti and Ruby Rose would get at it again, when Carti would be arrested for domestic battery. At LAX, Carti and Ruby were ready to enter their terminal when Carti asked Ruby to call her mother to check in, but she didn't want to. He would then attempt to snatch her phone, they would get into a scuffle, pushing each other back and forth, when Carti would eventually get fed up, grabbed her by her backpack straps and dragged her out of the terminal into an Uber, in which she would retaliate by slapping him in the face. Carti would be shortly arrested for misdemeanor domestic battery and hit with a 20k bail, which was posted the following morning. However, all these charges for this case were dismissed. After these incidents, Carti and Ruby would call things off, which is when Carti would then start linking his childhood crush, Iggy Azalea. The couple would first be caught together by the Daily Mail in 2018, in which they were swarmed by paparazzi after heading home after a night out. The couple would be then constantly spotted together, buying each other Lamborghinis, moving in together, and even Iggy wearing an engagement ring. A year later, it would be leaked to the press that Iggy is 6 months pregnant. Then in the April of 2020, their baby son Onyx would be welcomed to the world. After this, it was coming to the end of 2020, which is of course around the time Carti was preparing to drop his highly anticipated Whole Lotta Red album. But it wasn't all glory for Carti during this period of time, as Iggy would take it upon herself to start telling the world how much of a terrible father Carti is. She would first expose another baby mother of Carti's, Brandy, who is the mother of Carti's second child, Eve. But before Brandy and Carti had the child in 2023, Carti would first start hooking up with Brandy while he was still with Iggy, which of course meant he was cheating on Iggy while she was pregnant with Onyx. Carti would book an Airbnb for him and Brandy to hook up in, where he told Iggy was a studio.
Started fucking you in an Airbnb that he had rented out as a studio while I was pregnant since he couldn't play loud music in our apartment.
But one day, Iggy would send her housekeeper clean the Airbnb while nobody was there. But the cleaner left their Hoover. This is when the cleaner would return to the studio, only to find Brandy sitting on the couch, looking white as a ghost, exposed for hooking up with Carti.
Bear in mind, while my housekeeper comes to clean this Airbnb for these motherfuckers, there's nobody in there the whole time but Jordan and his couple of little friends. She cleans every single room, no one's in there, leaves, says goodnight, forgets her vacuum, comes back in, and who's sitting on the couch looking like a ghost? Brandy. You were sitting in there.
Another time, Iggy would find a suitcase in the house which contained female belongings, in which Carti made up the excuse that he just had a couple models over for no reason. But Iggy wasn't stupid.
So I go into his side of the closet and I see that there is a girl's little roll-along suitcase in there with some makeup and dirty old trashy underpants. You need to buy new drawers too, girl, now. Come on. Come on now. Because those shits were raggedy.
Iggy's friend would then even catch Brandy inside their house one time, in which Iggy stated that she would have got her beat up, but instead spared her.
Raven spared you because we were gonna beat your ass at 3 o'clock in the morning, and instead you just were out there with no shoes on the street at 3 a.m. looking fucking stupid like a trash bag whore that you are.
Even after all this, Carti and Brandy would continue hooking up, even though this entire time Carti was making promises to Iggy that he would try to fix their relationship and be a good father. Carti would come with excuses, with one of them being to give him time and space so he can release his album, so then he can step away from music for a while and become a real father. Now, building up to Christmas 2020, Iggy and Carti would attempt to get back together as a family to be there for Onyx. Carti informed Iggy that he wanted to spend Christmas in Atlanta because he wanted to throw a listening party for his upcoming album, and told Iggy she would need to travel with Onyx to Atlanta to be there with him. Iggy would tell Carti that there is no commercial flights available on Christmas Eve, which is when Carti told Iggy not to worry, as he would book them a jet. Sometime later, Iggy would ring up. No jet was booked, but no worries, Carti had it sorted. He rang up Iggy and told her, "Don't worry, I'll be there in spirit," meaning they would not be spending Christmas together. So Iggy and Onyx were stuck in LA by themselves with no Christmas tree, no family, and no father for Onyx's first Christmas. All because Carti travelled to Atlanta knowing Iggy and Onyx wouldn't be able to get there. To wrap up Iggy's rant, she would also reveal that Carti had missed his son's birthday to play the PlayStation with Lil Uzi, even though she had a scheduled C-section, meaning Carti knew the exact time and date his son was going to be born.
This man didn't even come to see his son be born. He went to Philly to play the PlayStation with Lil Uzi. He thought that was more important than seeing his son be born. And I had a scheduled C-section.
And to make matters worse, during COVID, you would only be allowed one visitor during a birth. Iggy would of course choose Carti to be a visitor, but of course he didn't turn up. So their son was born with only his mother by his side. Iggy also had to beg Carti to sign the birth certificate multiple times, as he refused to sign it, and from what we know, he still hasn't signed it to this day. But Carti's toxic relationships wouldn't end there, as on the 14th of February in 2023, Valentine's Day funnily enough, Carti would be arrested on a felony assault charge after allegedly choking his pregnant girlfriend. Following an argument over a paternity test, Carti would grab the woman by her throat and pushed her, holding her neck until she could barely breathe. She even told the cops she thought she was going to die. With all of this happening while she was 14 weeks pregnant, a witness would jump in and try to protect the woman, which allowed her to get out of Carti's reach and run to her car, in which she was attacked again. The victim would try to use the SOS feature on the car to which Carti pulled her out of the car and covered her mouth so she couldn't speak. And once police arrived, they saw the woman had visible injuries all over her body. However, Carti's attorney would quickly come out and tell the world that these accusations were false and that the case will be dismissed. Iggy would react to all of this by posting, "Been there, done that, warned you," which by now you may have realized this woman was actually Brandy, the girl Carti was having an affair with. Overall, it seems like Carti is a bit of a piece of shit in these situations. He confessed to beating a woman in 2015, shooting and grabbing Ruby Rose around the same time, then being a deadbeat father with Iggy, which is really odd. It's not like Iggy was some side piece Carti got pregnant, then was forced to have a kid with. They both committed to this relationship and even got supposedly engaged, to then completely missing his child's birth to play the PlayStation with Uzi and refusing to sign the child's birth certificate, so he doesn't have to legally claim the child and give the child his last name. Then more recent events where he would attack his 14-week pregnant girlfriend Brandy. Overall, it is really messed up, and it's a shame a lot of people are unaware of it, and if they are informed of it, they turn a blind eye. What even is more weird that Carti would even get slated by the media or his fans for abusing his girlfriends. But when it comes to taking money from Aiden Ross, that's when the internet would start turning on him. So now, let's move on to the next victim, Aiden Ross. On the 5th of February in 2024, a Travis Scott fan page would announce that Playboi Carti would make an appearance on Aiden's stream for 50k. Aiden would quote tweet this with, 50k question mark?
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
2 million, cash, and the Ferrari. 2024, music, Aiden ex Playboi Carti stream tonight, live on my kit. See you soon. The entire situation would go insanely viral. In addition to all the hype already built around Carti due to the rollout of his new album.
Yo! Yo, he snapped! All my life he snapped!
It seemed like the deal was accepted by Carti's camp and it was time to go. But once it was time for Carti to turn up, things would go downhill very quickly. At the time Carti was supposed to arrive, there was over 500,000 people sitting there and waiting for him to turn up. But what they didn't know is that he would be almost 2 hours late. But once he did arrive, Carti changed his mind and no longer wanted to be on the stream, which is probably him being afraid of losing his aura points. As we know, this is very important to Carti's non-binary vampire image. One of Carti's goons would enter Aiden's stream, but Carti was nowhere to be seen.
Crazy statement.
I was so close to having him in this building. Y'all can put L's all you want. I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna just say this. You sold so hard, bro.
It wouldn't be until Aiden started flexing a big bag of money, which he had ready for Carti, that he would eventually turn up. Carti would enter the room with an intro track, Hood by Air, where he would dance a little bit, then whisper a couple of words.
You working on the album though, right?
Love you, love you.
Kylo Ren.
Then take the money and leave. It was awful. Aiden would try talking to Carti, he would just ignore him.
Ce filme își dă omul ăsta, mă.
And even treated him like a little kid the whole time. The whole vibe was off. I'm not even surprised Carti left early. Carti would be there for a total of 6 minutes, if we exclude the time he spent dancing and jumping around, meaning he was paid around $3,000 per second to be on the stream. Fans were left disappointed, as Carti hasn't done an interview in years due to his mysterious personality. So fans were excited to finally see him come out of the shadows, but of course that didn't come to fruition. Many people would also try to call Aiden and Carti out, saying this was scripted and all for clout, but honestly, I don't think it was. I think Carti and his team probably just saw this 5'7" skinny fat streamer as an easy lick and they went ahead with it. But Aiden felt like he was scammed, as he said,
I have real life family shit going on. I flew to Miami from one day, flew right back here, slept all day because I was tired and jet lagged. Woke up, worked out, came here, sat here for 6 hours, streamed for an hour and a half. He was here, he leaves. Someone's gotta, I'm not gonna say who, someone's gotta call him and convince him to come back. He comes, listens to two songs, says 2 things, and leaves. Don't agree to something on the phone if you can't stick to it.
The internet would support Aiden in this, as everyone started going after Carti, calling him a scammer. With this much backlash, Aiden would eventually get in contact with Carti and confirm they are doing a part 2 very soon. To end it off, It seems like Carti has done a lot of scummy things to get to the top, but to be fair to him, it's worked out, and now he's one of the biggest artists in the world. So
Da,